Today I want to discuss the issue or the problem of a very famous actor, Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis was probably one of the, I would say, top five most recognizable and most famous actors of Hollywood in the 90s and maybe in the early 2000s. He was famous for movies like Sixth Sense, Armageddon, Fifth Element, and of course Pulp Fiction and his famous franchise Die Hard. Unfortunately for us and unfortunately for him, he got a very, I would say, even terrifying disease, dementia. Dementia, there are several types of the dementia. Dementia in English, dementia in Polish. Several types of dementia, and for example, the most famous dementia is Alzheimer disease, but we also have different types of dementia, and this type, but all of them are really terrifying diseases. Why they are terrifying? Patient to try to rescue him, to save him. For example, we often fear cancers or cancer-like diseases, but not all of them are deadly. And even those who are dangerous or deadly, you can, for example, postpone your death or your failure or your health failure for several years, maybe except the most dangerous ones. And in case of dementias, you cannot do anything. If dementia is really in your body, in you, if doctors diagnosed dementia, you cannot do anything except in Polish it's leczenie objawowe. I don't know the English term, but you can only make it easy for the patient to live with this disease, nothing else. And the worst part of dementias is that dementias are attacking the most important organ of our body, brain, and they do it viciously because you are losing not only your abilities to, for example, to walk, to eat, even to do your physiological needs, but you also forget your family, forget your acquaintances and your friends, and you even forget how to speak, how to remember words, and in later stages you cannot even do your physiological needs, and you are laying in bed, you cannot even have a posture like a human being, and you cannot even recognize other people, and you cannot even know, maybe this is the worst part, you don't even know that you are sick. So in a let's say cruel way, but a true way, we can say that this disease is making us succumb to our animalistic nature, because we are becoming not only a plant or someone without any cognitive recognition of anything, but we also started to behave aggressively and cannot control our impulses, our emotions, and we don't even know that we are in this condition. So we are becoming an animal, and not the cute one animal pets, but rather vicious, cruel, rabbit-like, aggressive animal. Not all the cases are, of course, the same, and not always we are aggressive, but still our brain cells, neurons are being degenerated by these diseases, by these dementias, and we are falling to the abyss of losing our own identity, our own soul. Because, for example, even if we are having a cancer, and we are terrified that we will die, still we are able to have this notion and to have this thinking that we are still we don't have to agree with other people, we don't have to agree with our lot, we don't have to agree that we got this dangerous disease, but still I'm aware that I, Lukas Oczkowski, is Lukas Oczkowski, and so on. And in case of dementias, you are not aware even that, because they asked the family of Bruce Willis, was he even able to recognize that something is going wrong with him, and they say that it is really hard to tell. So if the if the family said that, it means that he wasn't aware of this. So we even losing our soul without even knowing that we are losing our soul. We are losing our identity. We are losing the crux of our existence. The ability to know that we are here and we are we. So really, I'm wondering why such even, let's say, immoral diseases exist, but they exist because, for example, when we got a smallpox or a very dangerous disease, still, for example, and we are dying, we are suffering, we know that we will die, we still are in some case, in at least some scenarios, aware that this is our lot in life. And in case of dementia, even this is being stripped of our body, of our soul, and of our way of thinking. And we got the news that his conditions, that Bruce Willis' conditions were so bad that he needed to be transferred to a special facility for people with such diseases. So because so far he was with his family in his own house, but his condition worsened, and they decided, even at his request, but I don't think it was really his request, they were just terrified and scary and emotion that and very emotional that he's losing his last ways of recognizing them as father and as husband. And of course we had a picture doing by paparazzi, so it's a little bit immoral picture because it's showing us like Bruce Willis is doing these weird faces which are showing us that he's not aware of because these faces are not stoic ones. They are like goofy, stupid, retarded people do when they are retarded or they have dementia. So I'm not supporting this behavior of paparazzi journalists, but still this cruel reality is showing us that even though he was the most famous or one of the famous actors of Hollywood in the 90s, he got fame, but he also got splendor, he also got money, a lot of them. He wasn't even able to cure its disease or to postpone it, or to make symptoms less aggravated, less obvious. Because in dementia, you cannot even, let's say, weaken your diseases or your symptoms. You cannot do anything, and there is no cure for it. there is no vaccination, there is no cure, and it is very random. He wasn't fat. He was rather good looking and with proper building man for his late 60s, and he still got it. He was like 67 when it was officially recognized, something like that. Now he's 70. So we see that this disease is so cruel that even though you have money, you have fame, you are living in most powerful country in the world, you have access to the best doctors in the on our planet, you cannot do anything with it. Even with your potent money and friends and associates who can help you and who can connect you to important hospitals and important doctors, you cannot do anything. And he was beloved by many. I would say that it was one of my favorite actors in the 90s. I really liked his role, especially in Pulp Fiction and Fifth Element, but also Sixth Sense and Die Hard franchise. They were really epic for him as an actor, and lost all of this because many people are also thinking that he was exploited, because he then in his 60s he played in many movies, and he was kicked out from some movies because he was started to forgetting his parts, what to say, how to say, and even how to act. And people even think that maybe he was exploited by those who knew that something is wrong, but you can still use a famous actor to elevate your movie. Right now it's not as important as this, that he as a star of Hollywood, as a star of the 90s, and as in the 90s he, maybe Samuel L. Jackson, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brad Pitt. They were the top. They were the top, and people liked his charisma, his cocky behavior, and so on. I really liked his roles, even though he wasn't a very nuanced actor. He was often playing tough guys who can fight, kill, shoot, and so on. Tough heroes, tough hombres. I still. I'm still in this belief that such a cruel end meet him, because yeah, he has his money and he's in a proper facility to let's say end his life with dignity. What dignity it is if he cannot know that he is losing his dignity, that he lost his dignity in a way. He lost his contact with outside world. He cannot even properly recognize his own family, all other people. And in the last stages of dementia, you cannot even speak. You cannot even walk. You are laying in bed and you cannot even do your physiological needs. So basically, you are a plant, but sometimes even aggressive plant, without any culture, because culture is differentiating us from the animals. And he was stripped of this culture, of his even theological views, religious views, and so on, by the disease who is degenerating our brain. So the most important organ in our organism, and we can surely say that this is the organ when our identity, our soul, in a way, really is. So he's not only losing his ability to walk, talk, and so on, but he's even losing his ability to know that he is here, what is happening with him. Really vicious and cruel end to someone's life. And you cannot even work or try to achieve some progress to postpone it. You are not even aware, because for example, I have mózgowe porażenie dziecięce. So in I don't know the English term, but it is like my brain was also damaged. And for example, my left part is damaged. My left part of neurological system is damaged. Not severely, but in a way it is damaged. I have spastica, so it's a condition when your muscles are always in this. They are exaggerated. They are now. They are napięcie in Polish. So in English it will be like they are like stressed all the time. But still, even though I am a lame person, I don't walk evenly. I lame on my left leg, but still I can walk, I can talk, I can drive a car with automatic gear. But still I'm able to know that I am and that I have this condition. So for example, my second condition is that I have implanted pacemaker because my heart was damaged. I was born with the disease. When I was 5 years old, I had a rather complicated surgery on my heart, and then later I had to in my teenage years I had to have a pacemaker, and this is my second one. But still, even with such diseases, I'm able to, let's say, to record this video, to have a YouTube channel, and to in some way live a normal life. And these diseases are not curable, but I can live with them. And in case of dementia, you cannot live with your disease, and you are even separated from not only from your family, from your friends, from other people, but you are also separated from yourself. You cannot even, let's say, pray to the God that he would help you, or let's say pray to the nature, or pray to whatever you believe, because you cannot even know that you can pray. You are forgetting words, you are forgetting thoughts, you are forgetting even you are forgetting rational thinking in many ways. So for me it's really a terrible way of ending someone's life, because these diseases, they are, he can live for I would say he can even live for another, let's say, 4 or 5 years, but he's like almost like an animal. He needed to be transferred to this facility, and you cannot go back. You cannot even have a hope that you can go back. And he's not aware, of course, of these ideas of hope, not having hope, being terrified, not being terrified. So for me, it's really because I had a friend whose mother had an Alzheimer disease, but she was not aggressive, and she was very calm. She couldn't walk. She only sit in one place, but she didn't talk. So at least she was like a plant, let's say, because she was calm and so on. But she could at least sit in her own quietness. But we saw from the faces of Bruce that he can still walk, he can still probably mumble some words or something like that, but he's not aware of most of them, if any. So I would say that for me, I'm doing this YouTube movie, this recording, because I respect what he did as an actor. I really liked him as a kid and as a teenager, but I also don't agree, and I'm a little bit pissed off that such diseases exist, because they can completely ruin your, not only your life, because many diseases can and conditions can ruin your life, but it is also ruining even the ending of your life, the everything that you achieved, because at the end people will remember that even though he was very famous, he was a star, he was rich, he was a rather handsome man, he lost all of this to the disease he couldn't fought, and he couldn't even know that he couldn't fought. He couldn't fight it in any possible normal way. He couldn't. He couldn't even go to the church and say, God, please do anything that you can do to save me. Because he was losing his these neurons slowly, to the point that he was not able to understand what is really happening with him. Let me know. So for me, it's also like a movie, like a recording of this is for me also important to to be angry that something like that, some diseases like this, exist on our world. Let me know in the comments what do you think about the condition of Bruce Willis, about the diseases like dementias, and about what we can do to rationally, normally fight with them, or let's say maybe not fight, but to do something, anything which can help us.